Well, welcome everybody to Manufacturing Monday with Colin and Helen. It's certainly been an interesting week. I think Helen's going to be running the show today. I mean, we did give you an option to turn us off. I think Helen, the last one, said, if you thought we were crap, then tell us. Nobody did. What else has happened? Thomas has been in touch. I mean, he has now got his Mind Fuel lighting rig. So I've asked him to send me a picture of it working. His dad's probably really cross now trying to get that sorted out this weekend. Yeah. Well, what about you? I mean, you got anything going on? I mean, IFS has just gone nuts at the moment, but we'll come to that in a minute.
Yeah, no, well, I'll let you do that. But yeah, so, well, the theme of this week is about servitization, which we can get on to in a minute. But I know, first of all, I haven't got my party poppers here this week, but we wanted to kind of share with you the H1 results for IFS, because given everything that's been going on in the world, we are really, really proud of these results.
We are. But before we do that, I kind of thought it's a bit nuts, isn't it? We are leader in FSM. Actually, we are the leading in the Gartner Magic Quadrant. We are a leader, not the leader, not yet, in the IDC thingy where they have a very long, I don't know what it's called. Yeah. We had a Challenger mag that actually won an award, a creative award at the Hermes Awards. And now we've got in ERP today, they're doing a survey of CEOs who lead by example. And Darren is currently thrashing the competition. 94% to Darren, 2, 1 and 2 for the others, I think, or 2, 2 and 2. Make that.
Go Darren! Go Darren!
Go Darren. I mean, that's nuts. Anyway, yeah, sorry, revenue numbers before we get back to you. Okay, so you'd have thought it was going to be a disaster. Well, I'll give you these 5 numbers. I've written them down here because
you're cheating.
Every time I look at them, I think that's nuts. So, okay, more than 50% of our revenue came from field service. We had an increase in 56% in cloud revenue. And these are the 3 big ones. Okay, so our net revenue was up 16% over 2019, half year result. Our gross margin was up 19%. And incredibly, when there's a pandemic and nobody's doing anything, our software revenue was up 26%. I mean, those figures are nuts. So if there's anybody out there thinking about who to buy a software product from, I think there's only one company at the moment that's going meteoric. Everybody else seems to be flatlining.
And that's why we are proudly IFS, can I just
say?
We'll get the marketing bit in there, my hashtag.
Yeah.
That's it. Tick. Marketing done. Yes.
Yeah. Are you coming up for some sort of, I don't know what it is, appraisal soon or something?
How did you know?
I think my boss has given up praising me.
Anyway, so
sorry.
Leading nicely on from your comment about our, the majority of our revenue coming from field service, and clearly we are a manufacturing show, but service is a huge element within manufacturing, and servitization is a subject that is, for the purposes of this, it's a huge element. And servitization is a subject that I'm quite passionate about, and interestingly, it's something that I didn't know the term. I was asked this during my interview by your boss, funnily enough. I didn't know the answer. I said I didn't know the answer. I mean, they hired me anyway, so hopefully that was clearly not a massive error on my part. But the reality is, and I find this when I do speak to people, that we use a lot of terms, things like digital twin, digital transformation, servitization, and then you actually ask somebody to explain what it means, even somebody that maybe does this day in, day out for 20 odd years. Yeah, give it to me in an elevator style pitch. What is it? And they can't, or they certainly can't do it succinctly. And I think a lot of the time people can't do it in a way that allow other people who aren't maybe within the software industry, within manufacturing, to really understand what you're talking about.
So you can explain it.
Well, one of the things that we did, and one of the mechanisms we used to try and explain it, actually, I think this was almost a year ago, actually, we did this, but it's still as relevant today as it is before. We asked people internally at IFS, externally across social media channels, and just generally put it out there on LinkedIn and other questions. What does servitization mean to you? And we filmed a video, which I will share somewhere up here. Go and check it out, which was people at IFS reading out the answers that we were given. And some of them are absolutely brilliant. I mean, people just don't know, or they think it means something that maybe it does to a certain degree, but it doesn't. And so really it was around IFS trying to define what we term servitization to be. So without further ado, what we term servitization to be is, well, and this is my example, okay? I have a drill. I have no desire to own a drill at all. I like handbags, but I have a picture I want to put on my wall. And in order to do that, I need to put a hole in the wall. And so servitization is really around the concept of, I don't need to own this. What I need is a hole. So actually, if I could just buy that hole in the wall and not worry about owning a drill, fantastic. That for me would be, brilliant, because then I don't have to worry about trying to not drill through an electric cable, which is probably something I would do at some point. So really, when we talk about servitization, it's really about the concept of paying for an outcome. So not having to buy the tool that you need per se to get the hole, but it's actually, I just want the hole. I don't really care about what drill I own or buying a drill or what bit I need to make it work. It's about, what I want to do is buy a hole so I can put my picture up in the wall, and that's it. And that's really what we term servitization to be. And so the reason we're talking about this is we're building up actually to next week's Manufacturing Monday show, where we're going to be joined by 2 extra people.
Bit different
what
next
we're going
week.
to talk about there is the Servitization World Conference that is coming up. So we actually have some experts joining us, heaven forbid, who are going to talk about the Servitization World Conference. It's a virtual event, and they're going to talk about obviously what it means and what you can gain from attending it. So in lieu of that, and obviously keeping with the theme of servitization, this week's quiz, which I have done, is this particular gentleman. So I'll hold it in close. So he's got dressed up just for this occasion. So if you know who this is, do let us know. And without, do you know who it is, Colin?
He looks really cool in that, actually. You do realise that next week I'm going to be on my best behaviour. I won't be cracking any jokes, and I will be very, very serious because my boss is on the show. So that might be a bit of a clue. But anyway, yeah, I did have one other thing to say. A lot of people talk about this whole service economy and service industry as being something brand new.
Yeah.
So in my inimitable style, I did a bit of research. So actually, in the 1950s, things started to change, and we ended up with this term called the service economy in 1968. And I have to go very careful here, because the man that termed that term, the service economy, was an American economist whose name was, wait for it, and I have to go very carefully here, Victor R. Fuchs, which for a Monday morning is not that easy to say. And on that note, really, I haven't got nothing else to say.
No, that's it from me too. We will.
Goodbye, everybody, and have
See you next week. Bye.
See you next week. Bye.